Wednesday Mixed Morning Show, brought to you always, presented always by Compliment. That's over at lovecompliment.com. And still waiting for a good catchphrase to be written for me by Doug, ad copy. But in the meantime, just know it's the best supplements vegan money can buy. Check it out. Everything you need for your vegan lifestyle, empowered, implanted, embodied. It's just everything you want. Anyway, that's Compliment. This is the morning show. We're back in the morning, which is good because yesterday was in the afternoon. That did not go well at all. It was one of our worst shows, at least as far as keeping our minds on track and everything. Hopefully today will be better. Doug has been added to the Instagram. Doug, how's it going?
Good, Matt. It's a new dawn. It's a new day.
That's right.
I'm feeling fine. Vegan money. Do we know for sure that U.S. dollars are printed with plant-based ink? I've never even thought about that.
Yeah, I haven't either. I don't either. I get those green inks. No idea. But it's not. Most of that money's not vegan money. That's the thing. That money is filtered through the dairy industry and the beef industry and all kinds of industry that has its claws around all of our institutions, as we're going to get to today. There's a big lawsuit in the news, and that's why this episode, which I scheduled in advance, called it "Court is in Session," because Doug, there's the gavel.
There it is.
Plant-Based Morning Show. Court is officially in session. I've got some court on the mind, actually, Doug, because I just finished watching Jury Duty, which we teased in this show a little while ago. I think it was a few weeks ago. We teased the Jury Duty show and said, "Hey, this might be a good show." Someone had recommended it in our team Slack.
Discord. Oh wait. Oh yeah, that's right. It was Slack. Slack.
And it sounded pretty good. It was a Truman Show like thing where there's one guy it turns out he thinks he's part of a documentary that he applied for, and they chose him. You don't find that really till the end, but it's obvious he thinks he's in a documentary because he's doing interviews with the camera and stuff.
Right.
But everybody else around him is an actor. Every single person involved in the court, from the bailiff to the judge to the extras, all actors. Even like
no spoilers, Matt.
I'm not giving spoilers. I'm not giving spoilers.
All right, good. Okay.
Even in the restaurant scene, which is kind of a big scene in the show, one day the whole restaurant crowd is actors. So it's just cool, and all around one guy who doesn't know that it's a joke. And I finished watching it. I thought it was very good. I enjoyed it. Not going to replace The Office for me or the Parks and Rec, and I'm going to start watching it over and over. But the 8 episodes that there were, I enjoyed. Good guy, kind of heartwarming thing in general.
So I've watched, I think, 2 episodes and enjoyed those 2 episodes very much.
Did you? You didn't think it was really weird or like hard to like at first?
Well, I have to say, like, I finished that second episode. It's been over a week and I haven't watched the 3rd episode yet. So maybe that says something. I
had a pause there too after 2.
Mm-hmm.
It just is weird. It just wasn't like, it doesn't hook you right away.
Right. But I think what was most impressive to me is that, no one has lines, right? I mean, I'm sure like they have some things that are being scripted, but everyone's kind of ad-libbing based on like what he says.
Right.
And so that's some serious acting going on. I feel
that's
like
what
to not give it away.
Right. And you find out later in the last episode, they show you a lot about how they made stuff. And this isn't spoiling anything. You find out they had all this rehearsal ahead of time before he was part of it. And they did these scenes. They did one of the stunts where one of the guys falls off a bookcase or something. And they had like A, B, and C kind of like scenarios where like, if this happens, if he reacts this way, we're going to do this. And if he reacts this way to this thing, then it's going to go this other direction, because they sort of need to try to they want to keep him in the game and happy and not like, I guess, they're sort of managing his emotions, I guess.
Right.
So like at one point they show where he like reacts badly to James Marsden flipping a cake over, because James Marsden just acts like a total asshole the whole time. He's a real actor, and he's in it acting like a celebrity who's just off the rails crazy. Anyway, it's just cool. I don't know. I thought it was pretty good.
Do you remember Joe Schmo from early 2000s?
No, I mean, now you say it sounds familiar, but no.
It was similar. It was similar, but they were like in a house. It was like a real world type thing, but everyone was an actor except for one guy. And and they like put him through all these challenges and tried to make him be like a total jerk and like a pervert, like tried to like get him to do all these terrible things, but he ended up just being like this really sweet, innocent guy who wouldn't like one. I remember one of the like contest or whatever was somehow sexual related. He had to like touch, leave his hand on someone for a long time or something like that. And he was like, no, I'm like, it's making them uncomfortable. Like, I don't want to do it. And he like took himself out of the game. He ended up being like this really nice guy that everybody loved instead of the jerk that they were trying to like make him be. And yeah, it's just kind of a wild experience. Wild show. Yeah.
Okay. But I don't want to go much more on about this, but what I just found was good about this show was like, they're not really trying to embarrass him or anything. They're just putting him in tough situations where like you expect someone's going to eventually kind of lose it or just stop being nice, but he just keeps being nice to everybody. And he's just like, he just proves out to be a really good guy. So I don't think it's a spoiler.
What do you think would happen to you if you were in his situation?
I don't know. That's a really good question.
I mean, what I think, like, the big difference, right, between that and say the Truman Show or something like that is, I know the Truman Show wasn't real, but is he knows he's being filmed, right? He is part of a documentary. Like he knows that whatever he does is going to live, forever in sort of world. So, right. So like you have to have some sort of like little filter around that, I'm sure. Right.
Definitely. That may be why he was such a good guy.
Yeah.
Is because he knew that he was on TV. But yeah, okay, good enough. We could go on, but we won't. We'll stop there with Jury Duty. It's on Amazon Prime, presented by Freevee or something.
Freevee, yes. With ads. To watch commercials. Yeah, I haven't watched commercials in a long time.
No, somehow I watch commercials now all the time on sports events and things. I just see them now. I went through a 10-year period where I never saw any commercials, but I'm back to them. Anyway, if you're tuning in from Facebook, then hello, welcome. You've been added back into the restream after months of it saying it's disconnected, and I needed to go in there and do almost nothing. Basically, I had to sign into Facebook again. Is what I had to do, and that took a while getting the password reset.
Yes, so hard.
So once I did that, it was reconnected. If you are there though, go over to YouTube. The show has since moved over to YouTube as its primary place compared to Instagram. Mm-hmm. So I'm putting the URL up. It's youtube.com/Nomad Athlete. You should see that on the screen on Facebook. Go there. That's where the commenting and all that happens, more so than you're going to see on the Facebook feed, I think. And it's just better. You'll get good notifications when we go live and everything. If you sign up and subscribe to the YouTube channel, and if you click the bell that gets notifications. We're also doing Nomad Athlete Radio episodes from the same channel in this same format, just kind of different topics. We'll be doing one later today at 3 p.m. Eastern time. If you're interested, we'll be talking about fitness for longevity, kind of a part 2. Why are you laughing, Doug? What's wrong?
You didn't see my message, I guess, in Slack earlier from last night, but that's okay.
Yeah, I didn't. Okay. What do we got? A cancellation?
Well, we'll talk about it later, but
okay. Do people need to know that we're not actually on a 3?
Maybe. Yeah.
Okay. So it's a no-go. All right. Never mind. We're not going to be doing Nomad Athlete Radio this afternoon. Don't know when that'll be. I'm reading Doug's email now. Alrighty.
Oh, this is awkward. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, we'll announce in the Discord. This is a good opportunity to promote the Discord. Nomadathlete.com/Discord. It is a group chat, message board. If you're familiar with Slack, then that's what Discord is.
You know what, Doug? Let's read this message out loud here.
Okay.
Hey, Matt, if you really think we really need the NMA radio episode this week, I can make it work. Look at that. Good guy. But I'd prefer if I had that time. I'm drowning. And between Plant-Based Morning Show and Nomad Athlete Radio, I don't think I can give up 2+ hours of my day. I'm really sorry. I'd so much rather be doing the podcast stuff, but unfortunately, that's not my reality right now. Let me know what you think. Touching.
Thanks.
A little pull back the curtain. See what life is like.
Pull back the curtain. Life is really busy right now on the compliment side.
Yeah. So okay. So delayed indefinitely is the Nomad Athlete Radio show. Hopefully we'll get it up later this week. Maybe next week. Maybe not till Plantapalooza's done. We'll see. We'll let it go. But see, Doug did say if we need to get it done, we'll get it done.
We're gonna get one done before Plantapalooza for sure. I think if not today, then next week.
Okay.
Probably next week.
All right. Sounds good. I don't want to hear about any fun that you have in the evenings now the rest of this week, Doug. That you're like going out Thursday night, band practice, drinking 5 beers, playing chess, all that.
What time did I send that message?
10:13 p.m. last night. That can be fake. That can be simulated.
No, I worked till almost midnight last night.
Okay, fair enough. Good. Yeah, true. Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah, I think I can honor that request, Doug. I think we'll not do it as long as the people are okay with that. We'll do it next week.
I don't know why I'm flustered. I'm blushing a little bit. You can make fun of me a lot, and I don't get embarrassed.
I'm not making
For
fun.
some reason, I'm embarrassed by this. The peek behind the curtain. It's too real.
Yeah, reality TV.
Yeah. There we go.
All right. Yeah, everyone's an actor here, Doug, including all the audience and everything in these past 160
Wait a
shows
minute,
we've
Mr.
done.
Jeffrey can't be an actor.
He is. It's all been fake. All for this moment. All right. Back to real stuff. Anyway, what else? That's kind of jury is all I had for my little intro today. Nothing too much else. Anything else in your life, Doug, besides just soul crushing work going on right now?
I got something kind of so I announced a while ago that I was running the 12-hour Black Mountain Monster.
Yes.
Right.
The race you once won.
I won the 24-hour.
Right.
Yes.
You won the 24.
I was going to run the 12-hour. It turns out I didn't have something on the calendar that's happening the next day. And after much discussion with my family, I've decided to bump it down to the 6 hours. So I am still running, but it is only 6 hours instead of 12 hours, so I can be available the next day and be in full.
Okay.
Be able to proceed. Anyway, doing the 6 hour, but it's a month away. It's less than a month away. 25 days away, probably.
Is that work related? Is it there's too much work going on and it just kind of can't really?
No, Kate's training for her first trail race, and it's Sunday morning at like 7:30 in the morning or something, and and she's been training really hard for it. It's been awesome and inspiring to watch her do like a real training program and kind of get out on the trails and do all that stuff. And I don't want to get home at midnight after having run for 12 hours and not be able to take care of the girls to support her on her race. So, so that's really awesome what she's doing the next day. And it means that I get to do the 6 hour instead. And it's just like, it's about 25 days away. And I'm kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of really excited about it and focused on what each run's going to be leading up to that, and kind of building out a plan for the first time in a while to have a plan. And I don't know, I'm really stoked on it. So I'll share a bit more as we kind of get into these final weeks, but I have a few strategic runs planned for the next few weeks. And I don't know, it'd be really cool to race again.
Definitely. Have you done a 6 hour timed race before? Probably not, right?
No. The only time race I've done is the 12-hour. I mean, the 24-hour.
But a lot of 50Ks might get you in that 6 hour range, right? If they were tough 50K.
Mm-hmm.
So not a crazy distance. Different distance run.
No. I think I'm gonna go for like 35 miles.
Okay.
Which
good. Yeah.
Seems reasonable. I'd be happy with that. Like 10-minute miles.
I did a timed race January 1st of last year. And I think it was 5 hours. I think it was a weird thing. And for some reason,
you won it, right? Or
no, I didn't. No, I didn't win. I didn't. Oh yeah, I did. I got an age group medal. That's right. I got a third place. I think. I didn't get very far. I think it was a 5 hour race, not 6. For some reason, all the times were like 1 hour less than the typical. I forget why they did that. And I think I made it 27 or something. Not that far. But I don't know, enough to get a medal. Yeah, I did the 12-hour version of that race once, and the race you're talking about, and that night was like a wreck. I was like all feverish and terrible because it was 95 degrees out, because it's like June, right? So it was a 95 degree day. I was extremely hot. It's the first time I ever had all these real like heat issues where I was like overheating, and then I'd be like shivering after stopping at the end of each lap. Yeah, it was just really weird. I couldn't ever figure out quite what it was. But
like dehydration or like body regulation.
It was just heat. Yeah, I wasn't dehydrated that I know of. But it was like every time I would slow down at the end of the 3 miles to, go to my little bag or whatever, like getting started again, I'd be like shivering, and it was 95 degrees out. And so I just couldn't ever figure out what it was. But I was very like feverish that night after I drove home. So I wouldn't be wanting to watch any kids at that hour. So don't blame me for that. While we're at those, is there anything else you'd like to like back out of that's upcoming? That you just, like...
Back out of the show. Back out. Back out of my race. No. I've got races scheduled, like it's signed up for races, and I think there's only been one race in my history of running that I didn't show up for the starting line for, and that's not happening this year. So I feel it feels good to have them actually like paid for and on the calendar.
Yeah, good. All right, Drew Designs, frequent listener, points out that's good communication by Doug, knowing when he's drowning. Yeah, it is. I like to think it's good by me because Doug knows he can go to me with that. Feels like it's a safe place. I'm not going to read it in public on the
show you're not going to publicly shame me.
Anyway, that's that. Seriously, no problem. I don't mind having those hours back today either. I didn't have a good sleep last night, so it'll be good. All right. So anything else from anyone or any people here saying hi? That's good. Thank you. Everyone haven't been called that many names today, but that's all right. Yeah, I think we're ready to jump into our weather report, and then we'll get into our court story.
Do we have a new weather report name yet, or no?
Oh, there were some great suggestions. Plant Bites was one. I think maybe it's not gonna be great because it sounds great to me and you because we know what Plant Bites are, so it means something. I think if you didn't have that context, maybe it just wouldn't mean much. I don't know. Bianca has suggested one that I really liked, and I have it right in front of me here. Plant Slant, she said. That's kind of a cool one. Plant Slant, and then the No Meat News, all the plant-based news you can use. All Plants Considered was a little joke for you, Doug. She tagged you on that one. So I like that. I like Plant Slant myself. I think that's a good
Plant Slant. No Meat News is kind of good too.
Yeah,
they're all more creative than the ones I sent you, which were just like morning plant-based news.
and my sample ones were the same thing. It was like headlines. All right, so here we go. We'll test it out right now.
All right,
here we go. It's your Wednesday, May 10th, Plant Slant news from the Plant-Based Morning Show. The top headlines, all the top headlines brought to you by Compliment, lovecompliment.com. Terrible start today. Don't have it in front of me. Not ready.
Restart. We should just restart the whole thing.
Yep, we should, because we are putting these out on the internet now.
Before we do, this will be a good opportunity for you to restart, because I like Mr. Jeffrey's idea. Respectfully, you don't look like plants. News. Vegan. Anyway. All right. Where are we starting here?
All right, here we go. Your Wednesday, May 10th, Plant Slant. The headlines, all the best headlines from around the plant-based world, brought to you by the Plant-Based Morning Show, which is brought to you by lovecompliment.com. Rachael Ray, everyone's favorite celebrity chef, certainly one of mine, has just joined Meati's Culinary Collective. You know what cookbook author hasn't joined Meati's Culinary Collective? That's Bianca Phillips, our reader, who is a cookbook author and puked for several hours after eating Meati steak, whole cut, quote unquote steak. Carne asada, I think, was the flavor. Meati, of course, made from mycelium, which is the fast-growing root system of mushrooms, says Veg News. Rachael Ray, for Meati, has created 10 recipes along with tips, cooking videos, and she wants to showcase that that Meati is sustainable and cruelty-free alternative to animal-derived protein. This is cool to me. There's no one bigger as far as mainstream cooking goes than Rachael Ray.
And we
want that. Yeah, we want that mainstream adoption. Rachael Ray is how I began cooking. My first cookbook that I really cooked a lot out of was a Rachael Ray book in the early days, pre-vegetarian days, and I really came to enjoy those recipes. And then I started watching her on TV a little bit, not for too much, but anyway, she's also, earlier we reported a few months ago that she has joined New York City's first ever Chef's Council, which is developing plant-based recipes for the school system there. And as we know, they're doing meatless Mondays and even some meatless Fridays, I think. So this is great.
In that same report, didn't she say that she was like mostly plant-based or something like that? And the more you dug, the less plant-based she actually
sounds familiar.
Steamed, but yeah. But this Meati picture here of the rice and looks like rice and steak and broccoli with barbecue sauce maybe or something like that I have thrown up. That looks pretty good.
I mean, it is good. Yeah, I didn't like the chicken that much, but the steak, it was delicious and doesn't have fat. I just can't ever get past that part, that it was that good without fat. So Meati has some potential. Speaking of whole cut vegan meats, Legendary actor turned investor Robert Downey Jr., RDJ, Doug, has backed vegan steak brand Chunk Foods. Chunk, you may recall, is the one that's being served in New York City restaurants like Coletta, which I think is very famous, Anixi, and The Butcher's Daughter. I don't know those. And they've got a national rollout across the U.S. planned for later this year. So I'll be really excited about that. It's another one of those whole cut steaks. That one I do not believe is from mycoprotein, the mushroom roots. This one says uses fermentation technology to create whole cut meat alternatives. I still haven't tried a precision fermented piece of plant-based meat. That's one technology that I've only had the dairy, alternatives from.
Right. What are they fermenting?
I don't know. That's a great question. I would imagine it's fava bean stuff or peas or some sort of legume. They're probably fermenting that. I don't know what's in Chunk Foods' thing, but I'd be really curious to try. The reviews are good about that one, and I don't know, really good when it comes. Bring it on. So they bagged a staggering $15 million in its latest funding round. Doug, can you name one Robert Downey Jr. movie? I don't think I can.
I cannot.
Didn't somebody cancel him? Well, didn't the whole world cancel him for something at some point? He just has the look of a guy who's like kind of sleazy, and I think I remember us saying like, "Yeah, we knew all along he was a bad dude."
Iron Man. Is he an Iron Man?
Oh, Iron Man, of course.
Is he Iron Man?
He's Tony Stark. Yeah.
Okay. Sherlock Holmes. Sure, I've seen that one. Avengers Endgame. I've never seen that.
Well, it's Iron Man again, right? Avengers is same thing. Yeah.
Kate Rivercat says less than zero. He's in Tropic Thunder, apparently. Is
that the Will Ferrell movie? The basketball one?
It's the Ben Stiller movie.
So it's a Will Ferrell movie. Don't they do
basketball one? No, it's not basketball, is it?
I think Tropic Thunder is that little basketball team. Maybe I'm
wrong. No. They're like no, you're way off.
It's not it's a Jack Black, Tom Cruise. What was the Will Ferrell movie where he's that amateur basketball team? Someone tell us, please. All right. Well, I'm not gonna dilly-dally on that point anymore, as much as I might like to. Whenever I think of Tony Stark, I have to tell this story that my son, I used to read a lot of Tony Robbins books, and my son, when he was 2, 3, like a lot of kids that age, maybe up to 4, got really into the Marvel stuff, the Iron Man, and somehow he got it in his head that the guy inside of Iron Man was Tony Robbins, not Tony Stark. And I just thought it was the best thing ever. I just perpetuated that for as long as I possibly could, shielded him from the truth, and just let him keep thinking Tony Robbins was inside of Iron Man. And it's a great image.
That is hilarious.
Someone says weird science for our DJ. That's an old movie. I didn't realize he was even acting back then. Okay. Enough of that. On to the next. On to the academic, the legal stuff, Doug, which is perfect. Good thing we have a local politician here as one of our co-hosts. What about that job? You able to still keep that up among this recent work stuff? Or are you shirking on that too?
Shirking. Of course I am. I'm dedicated to all of my work, Matt. I'm giving it all first, right? No. Well, yes. Everybody first. Everybody first.
Everybody first. Like that. So everyone's the priority.
Everybody but me. Yeah. And you, I guess, in the show. Yeah.
All right. Well, here's some bad news related to and the audience. Here's bad news related to plant-based dairy, which is what our next topic is going to be about as well. This is from Europe, first of all. The EU, or the European Parliament, has voted not to offer plant-based milks in the schools over there. I don't what else to say. They voted not to do it. ProVeg, of course, steps in, says this is a missed opportunity. They said they're very disappointed by the outcome of this vote. But apparently it's not like a final vote. It's just right now they're not. And I guess at some point it'll happen again. In March, they also failed to support change in spite of the fact that 72% of participants in a public consultation said they were in favor of funding milk alternatives in school. When it came down to brass tacks, time to vote, they didn't do it. So not good. I'm reminded now of the UN report we read last week, which really declared more or less without what's the word, qualification, really, that dairy was a good food. Through all stages of life, dairy a health food. It was a huge study, meta-analysis of 500 other studies, not just on dairy, on all kinds of animal products, I think terrestrial animal products, to determine the health. And it wasn't like across the board biased in favor of animal products. It said some stuff like, meat red meat, not good in large amounts above some amount per day, not good above almost any amount in of processed meats. So like it was anti some meats. In general, also kind of anti-vegan diet, said you really need to be careful and get some of these nutrients that animal products give you if you choose to avoid all animal products. But when it came to dairy, and I think eggs, they said all life stages, the data shows makes you healthier. So in light of that, if we have to not even view this as a health decision, because I don't think people are convinced at all that dairy is not a health food. It's maybe purely an environmental move, and somehow that just seems easier for people to vote against. I don't know why. Maybe just kick the can down the road. So maybe they didn't think this was that big of a deal as we, who don't drink dairy for ethical reasons and health reasons, some of us, maybe we think this is a big deal for them. Yeah. But maybe for them, when you remove some of those things and you're just talking about the environment, maybe it's just not that big a deal. Let's say you, Black Mountain Town, whatever you are.
I mean, it is it is disappointing. I mean, it just seems like, I don't know. It's just on climate change in particular, it's just everybody loves to talk. No one loves to take action because those actions are hard. They're difficult. And they need to be large scale and come down from the government. So from large governments, not local governments. And this, so it does seem like a missed opportunity.
There you have it. Missed opportunity. All right. One more, and then we got to the feature story, which we'll touch on in this weather report or this plant slant. And then we'll get to the larger discussion. This one, though, unrelated. Dutch biotech company Mosa Meat opened a new 2,700 square meter facility on Monday, and it's part of their campus, which campus is an acronym, Doug. You wouldn't know it, but it is Center for Advanced Meat Production, Upscaling, and Sustainability. That's why they have a campus with 4 facilities on it now. Total footprint 7,300 square meters. And if a meter is 3 feet, then I think we have to multiply this by 9 to get the square footage, and that would put us around 65,000 square feet. That's a lot of square feet, making it the largest.
I mean, why do they need the acronym? Why can't they? I mean, that is a campus. There's 4 facilities.
Right. Who said we gotta?
Like, why do you have to rename it? Anyway,
maybe so that they could write it vertically on a chart and have like the word. I don't know. Anyway, they've developed a cell feed without fetal bovine serum, which is very important. That was one of the ethical hangups here because that's hard to get, or at least it's cruel to get. The animal has to suffer and die, I think, to get bovine serum. So they're very much cruelty free, almost, except for the taking of the stem cells, obviously, what you got to do. But it's apparently not that awful of a process. It's just a needle in an animal, and they say they can make up to hundreds of thousands of cultivated hamburgers per year from this facility. They don't yet have regulatory approval to do it in Singapore, but that's where they're planning to go. Singapore, of course, has approved several other companies to sell their plant chickens, at least. I don't know about plant ground beef yet. Or I shouldn't say plant. I should say cultivated chicken. That's being sold and eaten in Singapore. I don't know about beef, but it's in the works. So they're planning on it. Obviously, there's a lot of investment here, including by Leo DiCaprio. We got a star-studded plant slant
really
today. Yeah. Should we name Leo DiCaprio movies? I can do a few of those. I'm not going to do that though. That was the first one I got. Anyway,
catch me if you can.
Yeah. Wolf of Wall Street, I think.
Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Romeo and Juliet. I got some old ones.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Basketball Diaries. All right. What's Eating Gilbert Grape? That's really old one. All right. And finally, last bit of news here. In the first lawsuit of its kind, that's why we made this the court show. LA high school student Marielle Williamson suing her school district and the USDA with the help of PCRM, who I didn't know got involved in lawsuits. That's Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. You see a lot of science, pro-vegan science coming out of Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine, so much so that I always kind of a little bit take it with a grain of salt and say, okay, but it's from them, so they're not going to publish something that's anti the movement. So we just take it for what it is. But they're apparently helping with this legal case. And the problem here is that Marielle says that her school and the USDA are violating her First Amendment right to share information at school about alternatives to cow's milk and the health concerns about dairy consumption. So that's the story. We'll cut off the plant slant right there, and then we have a clip for YouTube. Now, though, we'll get into the actual discussion of this lawsuit, which is what we wanted to talk about today.
Yeah.
So, Doug, I think you can't pull this article up in front of you. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's right. The article, this is a Veg News article that you found. There may be, I'm sure there are others, but the one that you found and sent to me goes to a 505
Bad
or
page.
whatever.
Maybe I suspect foul play. Maybe.
Yeah, I know. I wondered that. Maybe they're like, it's a lawsuit about freedom of speech. Maybe they're getting censored here.
Perhaps could be happening.
Anyway,
yeah.
So what's going on? What was she trying to do, and what are they saying she can't do?
So she's saying because some students are, first of all, lactose intolerant, just can't drink milk, and I think also because some of them ethically just don't want to drink milk, that she's distributing information and saying, I think essentially, and I'm assuming this is the case. I don't know for sure. Essentially, milk is bad, and there are these better options that are plant-based milks, almond milk, soy milk, whatever, oat milk. And these, I don't know if she's saying these should be sold at the schools, but she's basically giving people information that these things exist. They're an alternative to the milk. I don't know if she's saying that cow's milk is bad for any reason, but it might be. Meanwhile, while she's not allowed to do this, says the school, and it turns out so says the government, actually. But the school says she can't do this. Meanwhile, schools sanction dairy promotions like the got milk ads in the morning announcements pervade her school.
Got milk in the morning announcements?
I know. I thought, what? I had no idea that that's going on.
It's crazy.
But it's possible. I mean, I don't know. One of my kids is homeschooled. My daughter, I think she would tell me if she was hearing that stuff. Of course, we're not in California, so it just might be different stuff. But yeah, I just haven't heard of that stuff.
Why are they doing? I mean, that's an ad campaign. That's a marketing campaign. Why are they running marketing ads in the school announcements?
When I was in middle school, there were ads for Sounds Great, a CD store that got read on the morning announcement.
Really?
It ended in Sounds Easy, Sounds Great, and it was Sounds Great Records or whatever, and you go to buy some, and they'd sponsor little promotions and stuff.
Huh. I don't know.
So I guess that's not unheard of. It might be going on right under your nose, Doug, in your town.
It could be.
Are you aware of how the morning announcements sound in Black Mountain?
I am not. I have no jurisdiction over the school system, though.
Oh,
so
you don't?
No, okay. Which is good. I don't want to be anywhere near that.
Anyway, so pro dairy stuff is happening in schools. It even seems a little worse to me than a CD store sponsoring an ad campaign, right? Because you just have to wonder where that milk money's coming from.
Right. What about Tom Brady's? Didn't he sponsored a bunch of stuff for a school? Remember that? For his
I mean, he was teaching his
TB12?
method. Yeah, and I don't know how much advertising there was other than basically the content marketing they were doing. But yeah, and I think they were paid. I think the schools paid for them to come in and do that stuff. So who knows how that went? But obviously, certainly in advertising in some form or another. Anyway, that's the short version. Is they're advertising this milk stuff, and they're serving milk, and she's not allowed to talk about that it's not good. Anyway, here's the interesting part that I have never heard of before. First of all, by law, fluid milk or cow's milk must be offered. It's called fluid milk. Must be offered at every school lunch and breakfast served under the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program. So it has to be included there, which doesn't say that you can't have other kinds.
Sure.
But it does.
Has to be an option.
Has to be an option. And now the lawsuit is arguing that there is a federal law mandating that any school that participates in the school lunch program, which we just talked about, what that is, shall not directly or indirectly restrict the sale or marketing of fluid milk products by the school or by a person approved by the school at any time or place. And so the lawsuit is arguing that law is unconstitutional because it restricts the free speech of students. So it's not just a lawsuit saying the school isn't letting her do this. It's a lawsuit saying this law by which the school is saying they can't let her do this, that's unconstitutional. So a little bit bigger deal here. Would you say this is going all the way to the Supreme Court, Doug, based on your extended experience?
Yeah, based on my specialty in law and government. Yeah, I mean, it certainly seems like it would. I don't know how it couldn't. If it's a federal law and they're gonna move it up the court system, she's probably gonna. Well, I don't know. She might win. I don't know. This feels like a big deal. It could change, make a real change. because it does seem a little. It seems. It seems kind of counter to some of our free speech laws.
Right. It kind of does. But I don't know. I mean, when the industry is involved, this dairy industry, animal agriculture in general, who knows who they're in bed with. So it just may just get blocked at some point, would be my guess. That somewhere along the line, without explanation, this will just go away. That's what I think is going to happen.
I don't know. I think it's gonna keep going. I think it's gonna go all the way up. I'm not saying that I have confidence in the Supreme Court to overturn it, but
you think it'll go all the way up? Out of the countless cases there are that are free speech cases, lawsuits filed every day about some violation, you think this one in particular is going all the way to the Supreme Court?
I think so.
Okay.
That's where my vote is.
Okay. I have no concept of the number of cases that are about constitutional things versus unconstitutional, and how many of those make it that far. Who knows? But listen to this. There's a little more here, and then you can give what you got. The USDA interprets that language, which I just read, the one about that law, to mean that cafeteria displays, printed material, and layout may not promote beverages other than dairy milk in a way that may detract from dairy milk sales. I'm reading directly from Veg News here just to give proper credit. Even water may not be offered on the lunch line in a way that might interfere with a student taking milk. So this is about selling the amount of milk, right? This isn't just like, I mean, I suppose it could be couched in language about health, and we don't want to encourage them to take water when milk would provide all this nourishment. But this is about making sure a lot of milk is consumed and money, right? So it's kind of crazy that they're like, it would just have that priority.
Yeah, it is crazy. Yeah. So, I mean, honestly, what I was going to say is that if the school is part of the free lunch program, or what it's called? Free lunch program?
School lunch program.
School lunch program, which I'm sure they receive a lot of funding for. Then it makes a little bit more sense why they can't, talk down on, degrade, despair whatever is being given to them, as part of the program. But for a student to not be able to talk about it like that feels like it does encroach on your freedom of speech.
Yeah, I certainly agree with you there. And I'm sure she's allowed to talk about that outside of school and off the school property. I'm sure it's probably not an issue then. But if whatever she's doing, distributing information on the school property, I don't know. I don't know what the laws are about when someone's on school property. Are they then bound by some other set of, they can't be, right? Because you have to go to school. It's a requirement that you go there. So it doesn't seem like, it's not like your choice to go to school and you can just choose not to come if you don't agree with the rules.
But do you remember when, we're kind of getting way off topic here, but there were people being suspended. There were students who were being suspended for school for things they were doing off of campus and things they were saying. They were like going viral on the internet,
from public schools?
From public schools. Yeah. Because of things they were saying and doing off of campus, and then it was reflecting poorly. I don't know. Maybe they were like somehow at like a sporting event or something like that. There may have been some connection to the school, but there was definitely like some questionable stuff about things that were happening off campus that you were then suspended for as a student. And I don't know. I mean, it's just a messy world out there.
Big brother, always watching. Thought crime is next. 1984. All right. So that's that. Mr. Jeffrey here says, the way I'm hearing it, I think this case will get thrown out, hearing that they must serve milk, but not that she can't sell non-dairy milk. But then I think he says later he didn't realize that the students were being restricted. He missed that she was restricted from selling. So yeah, I think that's the big issue, right? Is she allowed to say what she wants at school if it is against this thing? I saw something about it being the specifics of the discrimination was that you can't discriminate based on a whole lot of things or restrict speech based on a lot of things. And this was just based on opinion or based on viewpoint, I think was it, that they were saying that they're restricting free speech based only on the fact that her viewpoint is different from theirs. And that's what's illegal about this or unconstitutional about this. So yeah, I mean, I tend to side with her. I try really hard to, think critically, not just say, well, if it's on the vegan side, then I'm on that side too. But But this one, I don't have any knowledge of laws or constitutions. I mean, just none of that.
No.
Not
You mean you're not a lawyer?
Believe it or not, I'm not a lawyer. Not certified, but what's the word? I'm not qualified to give law advice, unfortunately. As much as I do here, I'm not qualified to do it. It just, I don't know. It just sounds like she's right. I think. I mean, I don't know. Why don't you get someone to say that there's other stuff out there? Now, if she's saying don't buy this milk, I guess it's a bigger issue because she's part of a school and the school's paying for this thing. So who knows? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I don't know that I have a problem with her saying don't buy the milk. If she was keeping people from buying the milk, like somehow, like throwing herself over the milk, in protest,
you're right.
like that.
You're right about that. She can say don't buy it, right? Totally.
Mm-hmm.
So we will see. I'll keep an eye on this one, just like I keep an eye on the Miyoko news every day. We'll keep up on this one and see what happens. All right, so that's that. You want to get into this other one, Doug, or should we probably should wrap it up there? We'll keep it on the courtroom theme. Tomorrow, we'll talk about some Mother's Day gift ideas, some wellness, not the Veg News article about 31 vegan Mother's Day gifts, because I didn't like those. But Eat This, Not That, my favorite site, has 10 best last-minute wellness gifts for mom, and they're a little out there, a little teaser for you. There's a $750 thing that somehow harnesses the energy in crystals and puts out those vibrations into your room and house.
I mean, sounds pretty legit to me. Sounds pretty great.
Well, I think they said it uses nature science or something like that. And I thought, okay, I shouldn't be questioning it if it uses nature science. But trying to find what actual science it uses. They did have a great phrase. Nah, I'll find it tomorrow. Anyway, I think we're good. I think that was a better show than yesterday, which is good. It's in the morning. It's when they should be. If you join us on Facebook, don't forget, go over to YouTube. I didn't see any Facebook comments today. Oh, no, I did see one. Terry Ann Towers St. Amand has sent an article about another, or maybe it's this article. Maybe it's the same story. Anyway, I'll click that and check it out. Thank you, though, for making a comment from Facebook. Steven says hi from Tenerife, where he is, which is one of the Canary Islands off of Africa, Spanish island. He sent me a picture from there yesterday drinking an Estrella Damm, and I was quite jealous. He was watching Real Madrid play Manchester City. Wished I could have been there. But anyway, hello, Steven. And I think that's it. I think that's all of our stuff today. Doug, you got anything else?
Don't think so. What is today? Wednesday? Hump day?
Feels like Friday for you. I thought it's how long this week has been.
It does. It does. So we'll be back. We're almost creeping up on our favorite show of the week.
That's right. Tomorrow, Thursday show. I don't want to hear you went out with your band now, Doug. Tomorrow, if we're not doing anything. I guess you got to unwind sometimes. So
I know you gotta be able to relax somehow. I mean, come on, man.
Yeah. Hey, reminder that we are putting a lot of effort into YouTube and hooking this back up on Facebook, for example. Yesterday, we put out our first of these weather reports. It was still called the weather report back then. I can't believe we were still calling it that. But it was. Now it's the Plant Slant. But we put out the first one yesterday. Didn't go viral by any means. I think got about 40 views in the first 24 hours or something. Nothing earth shattering yet. But if you can go over there and like these little weather reports or plant slants that we're putting up, but you'll see them drip out day by day. Maybe not every day, but some of them. That would help us. And so we're just subscribing to the channel, hitting the bell, turning on the notifications, trying to get that YouTube going. And we're seeing some signs of life. I do think there's really good potential happening over there. Despite this, first one not going crazy. So anyway, thank you for all the support, everyone. Just being here is the most important thing.
That's right.
But yeah, if you're a podcast listener, please, youtube.com/Nomad Athlete, go over there and do all the stuff I just said. It would really help us put more energy into the show and help grow it.
Then I'll have more trouble turning down opportunities to record a podcast.
That's right. I'll have a little more leverage for your time.
That's right. Thanks everybody. This was fun as always. We'll see you tomorrow.
All right. Sounds good. Goodbye.